pedal power, if you remember that from yesterday. And this is what we're going to take a look at to read. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you guys can get a bike and get it going and saving energy for your families in the house. It takes a lot of work, but you could do it. All right, comprehension strategies. As you read, you may come across words or facts or explanations that you aren't sure of. Don't just skip over them though. Go back and look at them. And it says, an example on 422, I wasn't sure how pedaling a bike made electricity. So the child went back and reread it and found that I read that pedaling a bike makes the wheel spin. The wheels spin the generator, which turns the energy into electricity. Now I understand how a bike makes electricity. A generator is a machine that has the ability to switch power. Isn't that neat? And you store it. So again, don't just skip over items. The author's purpose under comprehension skills is, why did the author write it? What's he trying to explain? What's he want to describe to you? And this was about what is energy? And you went back to 421 and you found out clues. Information has to be given to you so you have a clear understanding. I look for clues that help me figure out the author's purpose. One clue was, author explains that energy can come from the sun, wind, water, and people. Now we have to find the next clue and the author's purpose. And it's there. It is available to you. And those are in your turn papers we'll take a look at. All right. Expository text. We've done these before. This is about a certain topic. They gave you certain facts about that and information. They can include text features. It just depends on the author himself or herself. Here they did it. They did subheadings. They did where they emphasized the word to, and like a diagram and labels. That is to be a help to you to understand how it all works, like with the bike. So when an author does that, or anyone for that matter is trying to make you have a better understanding, hey, maybe you'll try it. Paragraph clues. You can use paragraph clues to figure out the meaning of a new word. Sometimes it's just not real clear to you what it's supposed to mean or represent within the information you were given. Here, to figure out what the word transferred means, I look at other sentences in the paragraph. So the person went back, took a section and looked at it carefully, and it says that transferred means move from one place to another. You use your legs to push the pedals. Your energy is transferred to the bike. This shift of power or energy makes the bike move. So clearly understanding what you're reading is essential to what the author wants you to understand from his writing. All right, here we go and look at your turn pages again. And on 422 and 423, you might not understand what they meant by stored. In this case, you may not understand appliance. Maybe they're not talking about a pot and a pan that you use for cooking. So take your time and go through the materials carefully. All right. Now, here's where the boy wrote his facts and in his own words and responded to the prompt. Explain some ways people can use bicycle power energy. How nice. It's well done. He took the facts, he put it in his own word, content words, generator. He used words that he learned from the readings, developed points, made it a little clearer, maybe for his writers, or excuse me, his readers. All right. He used the word example of an article here. I'm sorry, I can't see it quite. The word A is an article of an article. It's what I'm trying to say. It's in your grammar handbook, and we'll take a look. But please, as you note, and when this child wrote, this young boy Hector, it isn't a lot of sentences. That isn't what makes a paragraph or makes someone understand. It's being clear, being precise, so that other people understand. How many of you are going to go out and get a bike now? Maybe you want to have a heated pool. You'd like to have that water a little warmer. I don't know if that would work, but it would be something to try, huh? All right, your pages, your practice workbook pages. Let's see, what did I do with, oh, here they are. Each can, I love that. Each can counts. All right, be sure you write sentences. All right, diagrams, you know them and what they represent. Labels, you know why people do that, to help you understand where things are even found. All right, on the other side, this takes a little more work to itness, I guess I want to say. So it says, look at the examples. You're dealing with energy and how it's being used here. We use energy every day to do work. So you're going to have to look, and you're going to do some underlining that will be of help to you with answering this. And there are the answers. So give it a try. All right. I think you'll do quite well. Here's the other side with the read the draft model that we do. See what you can come up with for some ideas here. And it says answers will vary, so that's not unusual. And on the other side with Hector, you're going to be doing some underlining and some boxing, circling partially to answer the questions that Hector has presented. Okay? So a little different this time, but I think you'll do just fine. This, our math, as we said, is 17-2 today. It is the review one to enter you into the upcoming third grade. So I want you to just take a look at it. If you don't have the paper, it's fine. We were hoping they'd all got sent out to you. Some of mine may have been stapled. Some, I don't know what could have happened. But not to worry, just as long as you watch the video and you get an idea of what you're going to be doing. This one is about division, okay?
How many are in each group? Think about this question during the lesson. 3 friends have 12 toys to share equally. How many toys will each person get? Into how many groups should you put the toys? Why? You will put the toys into 3 equal groups because there are 3 people who want to share the toys equally. What operation can be used to solve this problem? Division is an operation that is used to find how many equal groups or how many are in each group. What part of the model shows the total number of toys? The line segment above the rectangle shows the total. Why is the rectangle under the line segment divided into 3 equal sections? Each rectangle represents one person who is sharing the toys. Put one toy at a time in each group. How many toys will each person get? When all the toys are grouped, there will be 4 in each group. You can write a division sentence to find the number in each group. Each person will get 4 toys. This lesson introduced the operation of division. How is this operation different from multiplication? Division separates a total into equal groups. Multiplication joins equal groups to make a total. You now know that division is used to find how to equally share a group of objects. If there are 4 friends, how would they share the 12 monkeys? Try it yourself.
Okay, that gives you an idea of what you're going to be doing in the future, all right? You don't have any assignments to start. If you have the Step Up number 2 lesson, take a look at it. There's only a few different questions on there. This is just to kind of give you some highlights to it, all right? You don't have to go and do anything or worry about anything.
Okay, so this is Step Up 2. It's going to be at the back of your black Common Core Reteaching and Practice workbook. There's no quick check, okay? Someone just asked us, there's a quick check. Remember, there's no quick checks anymore. So it's just these workbook pages and then the end of the year test. Kira's already done hers. So all she has to do today is watch the math video, and then if she has this workbook page, then she can fill this out too, okay? So it says, let me see if I can open this up. Okay, 5 children want to share 10 counters equally. Draw 1 counter for each child. Keep drawing 1 counter for each child until you have drawn 10 counters in all. So you would do 1 for Brandon, 1 for Melissa, 1 for Joaquin, 1 for Dorothea, 1 for Janet. So now that's 5. Then another for Brandon, another for Melissa, another for Joaquin, another for Dorothea, and another for Janet. So that's 10. So now there are 10 counters. You shared them equally. There's 5 kids who got them, and then each child got 2. So each child gets 2 counters, okay? You're gonna do that again for the next question. And then for Step Up 2, we have 15 crackers shared by 3 friends, 15 in all. So then you would separate them, make equal groups of 5 each. And so 3 each friend, so there's 3 friends, so get 5 crackers. Do the same thing for number 2, 3, and 4. So remember, if you don't have your book, what you can do is you can pause the video if you're watching it on YouTube, and then you guys can write it on a separate sheet of paper.
For 20 minutes and getting that heart going. Now you can go outside and around your yard because it's not raining today. So feel free to jump and go and do jump rope or anything else you have that you enjoy doing with your family or by yourself even. All right, the next thing is our science. Miss Park, I did want you to know, and I did look at it, it's one of the longest lessons I've ever seen. And I mean, it's really neat, kids, but I've never seen one this long in a program.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll just show you guys each of the slides, and we'll talk about like the main ideas.
Because it's quite lengthy, but do take your time if you have it and go through them. I was quite stunned how long these were, but very engaging, very nice. This is to explain today. Okay, water habits, oceans. A coral reef is one habitat in the ocean. An ocean is a large body of salt water. Ocean water covers most of Earth. Different animals live in different parts of the ocean. It says tap on the orange icons in the activity on the next page to see where some ocean animals live. How do you think different ocean animals survive in their habitat? Ocean plants, such as seagrass, provide food and shelter for some animals. Okay, let's take a look. Different animals live in different parts of the ocean. Whales, dolphins, and sharks, angular fish live in the deepest part. The crabs and such live in the shallow part. Most ocean animals have body parts that help them to swim and stay safe, like the sea turtles. A squid moves by its sucking water through it. Now, how do animals use plants in the ocean? Well, they either eat them, shelter as a home to protect so that they don't get eaten. How is an ocean habitat similar to land habitat? Just like we said, eating, survival, way to hide, that type of thing. Here's a pond now. A pond is a small body of fresh water. Fresh water has little or no salt in it. Most animals that live in fresh water cannot live in salt water. Frogs, fish, and turtles eat insects that live in ponds. Snakes live in the grass near ponds. They eat the fish and the frogs. All right, pond plants with root grow near the shore. The stem, leaf, and flowers grow out of the water to get the sunlight. All these animals are very dependent on that for food, water source. And then here's
Water
one.
makes a great home for millions of plants, animals, and other living things on Earth. Water habitats might be filled with salt water
It's a
or
ton
fresh water.
great.
They might be flowing rivers or ponds full of plants.
Water.
Whatever they are, these water habitats meet the needs of the plants and animals that live in there. Let's take a look at the ocean. Oceans cover most of Earth. The ocean is a saltwater habitat. There are more than 1 million kinds of plants and animals that live in the ocean. Scientists believe that there are millions more that have not been discovered yet. The ocean is home to many types of plants and seaweeds. Kelp is a type of seaweed. Big areas of kelp are like underwater forests. Kelp provides food and shelter to fish, shellfish, and even mammals like seals and sea otters. Did you know that kelp can grow up to 60 centimeters or 2 feet in one day? A plant called seagrass grows in shallow parts of the ocean, where it can get the sunlight it needs to grow. Most plants would die in salt water, but seagrass grows well in this habitat. Like kelp, seagrass provides food and shelter to many animals. There is a huge variety of animals that live in ocean habitats. The largest mammal on Earth lives in the ocean, the blue whale. Some blue whales are longer than 2 school buses. These giant animals eat tiny shellfish called krill. One blue whale eats millions of krill each year. There are nearly 20,000 different species of fish in the ocean. There are fish of all different shapes, sizes, and colors. Anglerfish live deep in the ocean, a mile below the surface. Anglerfish have sharp, clear teeth. Female anglerfish have part of their spine extended over their head. The tip glows to attract prey, such as shrimp and small fish. The ocean is also home to animals such as jellyfish, octopuses, sea turtles, and even sea snakes like this banded sea crate. Sea snakes breathe air, but some can hold their breath for 2 hours. Coral reefs are like underwater cities. They are home to thousands of living things. The coral itself is a living thing. It's a collection of tiny animals called coral polyps. Each polyp is about as big as the head of a pin. Other animals can find food in the reef. They can find places to hide so they don't become food. Look at all of the colorful fish and coral. Now, let's take a look at freshwater habitats. Rivers are bodies of fresh water that flow. Rivers are home to a large variety of plants and animals. Let's take a look at some. Plants that live in rivers, like green river grass and spike rush, are an important part of river habitats. They provide food and shelter to the animals that live there. Many trees grow along the sides of rivers. Their roots grow down into the river and provide shelter for many animals. Tree roots also help keep the soil on the edges of the river in place. Even though Earth's oceans cover much more area than bodies of fresh water, freshwater habitats like rivers and ponds have more kinds of fish. Fish like catfish, trout, and minnows live in rivers. Did you know that most salmon are born in rivers and then travel to the ocean to live? They are one of the few species that can live in saltwater and freshwater. Salmon swim against the flow of the river to return to where they were born to lay eggs. Dolphins may look like fish, but they are mammals that live in the water. Most dolphins live in the ocean. Did you know that some dolphins live in rivers? Pink river dolphins are actually pink or gray and pink. Animals like crocodiles, turtles, and snakes also live in and around rivers. Crocodiles live near rivers and other bodies of water. Water keeps their bodies cool and helps them hide from larger animals like leopards that could eat them. They can swim under the surface with just their eyes and nose showing. Water also provides crocodiles' main source of food, fish. River turtles usually eat grasses and leaves. There are some kinds of river turtles that eat fish and other small animals. Water snakes also live in rivers. They mostly eat small fish, frogs, and salamanders. Water snakes hide in the rocks and plants that surround rivers. Rivers are also home to mammals like river otters and beavers. Did you know that beavers eat trees? They like to eat the green inner layer of wood and will use whatever is left to build their dams. Beavers build dams, canals, and make homes for themselves in rivers. The river habitat provides all of the things that these animals need to live and grow. Ponds are another type of freshwater habitat. A pond is a small body of fresh water that does not flow. Pond plants are important to pond habitats. Plants like water lilies and cattails live in and around ponds. These plants need a lot of water. They depend on the pond to get the water they need. Water lilies are helpful to pond habitats. They actually help clean the water. Water lilies also give small animals like frogs a place to hide from predators. You can find a large variety of animals living in ponds. There are many types of fish like bluegill, carp, and bass in ponds. These fish feed on bugs, algae, and plants. Crayfish like to hide under rocks or logs. They eat snails, worms, tadpoles, and plants. Salamanders also live near ponds. They look like a mix between a frog and a lizard. The young look similar to fish and live in the water like fish. plant-grown salamanders live on land, but go back to the water to lay eggs. Did you know that some species of salamanders can lose their tail during an attack and then grow a new one? Frogs also lay their eggs in bodies of fresh water like ponds. The eggs develop in water. Then the young frogs, called tadpoles, live in water until they lose their tails and grow legs. Then the frogs live mostly on the land that surrounds the pond. Toads lay their eggs in ponds too. Many birds like ducks and herons live in and near ponds. They eat fish, other small animals, and plants. Look at this duck with her ducklings. Pond habitats are able to meet the needs of the plants and animals that live there. There is plenty of sunlight, food, water, and shelter. Earth's water habitats are filled with plants and animals. Can you think of any other type of water habitat? What kinds of plants and animals do you think live there?
All right, we're gonna just quickly go over the last couple ones. So pond animals breathe in different ways. Frogs breathe through their lungs. And then what you're gonna do is there is a different and alike Venn diagram here, just like what we did last week. So on one side you would write ponds, on the other side you would write oceans. So ponds have fresh water while oceans have salt. Ponds are small while oceans are large. Ponds usually have the same temperature, whereas different areas in the ocean, like the deeper you go, the colder it is. But something that's similar is that both give plants and animals what they need, okay? The next one is the pond habitat. Tap on the plants and animals to learn how they live together in a pond habitat. So here are the muskrats. And if you want to read more about the different types of animals, you guys can, go on your own Connect Ed website because you have access to all of this. Or you guys can watch this on YouTube later. And then you guys can just pause the video and read some of these things. The next thing we have is going to be draw one way a pond animal uses a plant to survive. Label the animal and plant in your drawing. So maybe that's something you want to do at home. That could be a little bit of art you guys do for today. The next thing is going to be our inquiry activity, which is going to be plants and water habitats. You have learned about salt and fresh water. Find out about wheatgrass and if it can survive in a saltwater habitat. So you could make a prediction on whether you think it will or will not survive. You're going to use these materials if you want to do it. You're going to write your observations. So, you might put like, this is day 1 through 8, the one that grew in fresh water and the one that grew in salt. And then use your data to explain what happened. So some plants cannot survive in a saltwater habitat. The wheatgrass looks unhealthy after 8 days in the salt water. And then what happened, you can say that the salt water made the plant unhealthy. Okay, so if you want to try that at home, you can. The next close reading that we have is going to be river habitats. And then again, I'm not going to read everything, but if you guys want to, what you guys can do is you guys can pause the video or read it on your own. A river is a body of fresh water that flows. Most rivers begin high in the mountains, and it flows down, as you guys saw in some of our other lessons. Trees and other plants grow alongside a river. Their branches and roots grow down into the water. Many animals live in a river habitat. For example, snails and river otters and salmon. A lot of salmon are born in rivers. They travel to the ocean to live as adults. And then the salmon is swimming against the flow of rivers. Salmon return to fresh water to lay their eggs. And then there is the finding evidence and making connections where you guys can answer questions. And then I think last we have the living things in coral reefs. So we have here, how do you think people's actions can affect a coral reef? Investigate how humans can affect a coral reef in part 2 of the simulation, Living Things in Coral Reefs. And we showed you guys this yesterday. So you're going to click on a card for a question or an event. You're going to read the question or event, answer the question by clicking yes or no, and then write the event or activity under help the reef or harms the reef. And then you're going to continue this. So clicking on it, will you break off a piece of coral for a souvenir? No, that would hurt them. And then do another one. People organize a cleanup to take away trash. So that would help them. So you would move. Next one, an oil spill from a boat floats onto the coral reef. Oh no, so that's probably going to take us back to the beginning. And then you can keep doing it. Will you drop the anchor from your coral reef away from the coral reef? Yes. Local officials will now not allow touching of the coral reef. That's great, so we're going to move forward. Will you release your pet fish into the coral reef? No, because they are not meant to be there. A local town prevents pollution from running into the ocean. Yes, that's a good thing. So look, that will keep the reef healthy. And so look at all of these awesome animals and they're smiling. You help the coral reef stay healthy. So that's what you guys could be doing if you want to do the inquiry activity today. You can repeat steps 2 through 4 until, every simulation is over. And you guys can write which ones helped the reef and which ones harmed the reef. And then, did the coral reef stay healthy? What do you think was the result? Yes, even though there were harmful events, people planted trees and stopped pollution. This helped the reef stay healthy. Which event do you think was the most helpful to the reef? Which event do you think was most harmful? And then you would add evidence to collect your claim. And then these are some ways that you guys can help yourselves if you want to do some more work on that. So that is all for science. I know I went through those kind of quickly, but there was a lot, as Ms. Dominguez did say. You guys have your writing. You can go to Google Classroom and do it under your selfie writing, your COVID-19 time capsule, or you can do it in a separate notebook or journal. Make sure you're writing a paragraph, 4 to 6 sentences. Informational, opinion, and narratives, you guys should be working on those each week. And then for your 5 things, you have your practice spelling and your practice vocabulary test in Spelling City. And then you have your grammar and mechanics and words to know in Connect Ed, which we went over yesterday. So if you have any questions about that, message your teacher. And then if you guys have any questions, still, you guys can go ahead and ask us now.